Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the PLA podcast. I have an incredible guest here that I'm so excited to interview. Santhi, welcome to the PLA podcast.
Thank you, Dunya. I'm so excited to be a guest on your podcast.
It's such a treat to have you on here, and it's been an absolute treat having you in the PLA community. So I'm so excited to interview you today. And I'd love to formally introduce you to our audience because they haven't had the privilege that we've had at PLA of getting to know you.
Thank you.
So, welcome. This is Santhi Basu. She has a unique 16-year career journey across multiple disciplines in tech. Her experience spans software development, QA leadership, analytics, release management, project programs, and product management. She now leads voice to customer analytics, directly influencing product strategy. Her career is built on three core pillars: data driven strategy, leadership, planning, and execution. She brings a rare breadth across the full product life cycle, allowing her to navigate organizations fluently and align key stakeholders quickly. Driven by curiosity, a growth oriented mindset, and a commitment to being a continuous learner, married and a mother of two boys, ages 8 and 2, whom she lovingly calls her energy boosters and at times drainers. She is a trained Indian classical dancer, naturally creative and skilled at crafting beautiful aesthetics, a photography enthusiast, an avid yoga practitioner, and a badminton player, and recently a tennis learner. She began Indian classical vocal music training during the pandemic, a testament to her curiosity and love of learning. She runs a cooking blog featuring authentic Indian recipes and a lifelong reader with early influence from her mother, who shaped her to be disciplined, organized, and resilient, a grounded in strong can do attitude. Santhi, welcome to the PLA podcast.
Thank you so much, Dunya. And you have beautifully crafted that. I would have done that for myself.
It's a
It makes me feel so, actually emotional listening to that. Oh, this is me. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction.
Oh, I love it. I think there's something so sacred of being able to witness and, just hear out the journey one's been through. You've been through so much, and like personally and professionally, and have grown and have been so curious about so many fields. It's so lovely to put in one place and be able to, share that with not only the audience, but with you too as our guest today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Santhi, I'd love for you to take us back to the very beginning of your career and just give us a little bit brief a story of where it all started.
It's not a very unconventional start. I would say that, it just started like any typical Indian kid, aspired to be an engineer or doctor. These are the professions. That's how I started. That's where I have started. But whatever I picked, whatever I choose, I gave my 100%, more than 100%. I believe in like once you committed to, whether it's academics, whether it's an assignment or learning something, I have to excel it. That is the only thing that I tell myself. It is not to prove to somebody, it is to prove it to myself, to make myself feel good and proud when I'm talking about it. So keeping excellence at core of everything I do. So I finished my college in India. I have master's degree in computer science. And, I started on a very conventional way of like, started my career with internship, first job, everything. But every step that I have made, yes, there are like, a slightly unconventional, I took some deviation from, the regular software engineer path to I wanted to do something as an entrepreneur. I failed it. I admit, maybe it was very early. I failed at it. I didn't put a full stop or period there. I just said a comma and I resumed my technical career as well as a software engineer. So that's where I have started. Very normal, humble beginnings. The family I comes from, but The family, which is very educationally oriented, who always reminded academic excellence, is important than like any other luxury in life. So I think that's the basis of my journey.
Beautiful. And I love that even in this conversation, I'm already learning even more about you than I previously knew. And that piece around taking even a step out of, your technical uh, work and really moving, just exploring entrepreneurship and just saying, hey, I went in, I jumped in, I failed, I came back. There's so much beauty in being willing to go out there and to try and to stay committed to your work. Like there's so like you said, when I commit to something, I play full out until, I either discover something, learn, achieve another, or realize, wait a minute, I need to pivot and go back or change
Yeah,
directions. It's very powerful.
thank you.
I love it. Santhi, I'd be curious to know, with all of this change and all of this experience, what is something you wish someone had told you at the very beginning?
Mhm. I have like wonderful people in my life, and like I said, like my mother, who put a lot of fundamental, a strong foundation, how we have to look at life and everything. And I have my sister. But still, I think when we all start on our journey, especially the career, the professional journey, we are very ambitious. We call it ourselves, or somebody point at us and say that. I was head down, thinking about project after project, assignment after assignment, and so immersed in that.
Mm,
I was so reluctant to take any breaks. I was relentlessly working. The only thing that's constantly on my mind was what's next. I
mm,
still have that. I still do. I still do. If you don't have that, what's next, you won't progress. I still do. But somewhere in that journey, I was like, I didn't know the word burnout.
mm,
I didn't know, as we embark on our journey, we learn so many things. I didn't know that's called burnout or something. I was afraid to take pauses or the breaks. If I anticipating some break is coming up, and I was like, oh no, what happens? How do I explain that? That younger self, right? It's tough. I don't know how to articulate that if any gap comes. So that's how I was. What's next one? I was just keep chasing.
mm,
But if I could tell, or myself, my younger self, or if I can, somebody tell me, is that take those pauses, intentional pauses or the breaks. You call it a vacation or staycation. I call them introspection,
mm.
because this is important. You
Yeah.
have done so far, you have come along so much. It's important to take those intentional pauses, reflect on your journey,
Mm.
learn from it, whether it's good or bad. Take that ownership, be accountable, celebrate
Mm.
those accomplishments. Even if it doesn't, size of it doesn't matter. A win is a win. You have to celebrate, pat on your back. When you do that, it's not a distraction. Treating yourself, taking those pauses and then reflect on your work or the accomplishments, but rather I would say that it's a great dopamine effect on your brain. Trust me on this, and you can quote me on this one. When you take that, because you have to appreciate yourself,
Mm.
nobody else would. You have to treat yourself, you have to acknowledge, you have to celebrate your own wins, regardless of the size of it. And that kind of works as a fuel to zoom into your future self, if not 10x or 100x, with 1000x speed. That's what I wish I had known very early in my career, because I was anxious. I was like, oh no, I heard something. The project is, wrapping up. What's next? What if I have to be in the free pool? What if I have to be on the bench? What, after some time they said, oh, we couldn't find anything, and then you have to leave. How do I find my next job? I The thing is, the reason behind is also like the time when I graduated from the college, it was a recession. The very onset of like a recession back then, a decade and a half ago. So obviously that fear is like very organically coming to me. But today I would say, like, don't worry, life happens, career happens. Don't be too anxious about any breaks or the pauses. Take it as an opportunity to reflect on your journey, appreciate your journey and accomplishments, move on, be a continuous learner. Yeah, that's what I wish I had known very beginning of my career.
Oh, I love that, Santhi. There's so much in that, and it sounds so simple, but we live in a world that oftentimes, glorifies the speed, glorifies the momentum, glorifies the action taken. And oftentimes we forget the power of a pause. So I
Mm.
love that was your share, is actually take a moment to pause, take a moment to pause, to reflect, to even celebrate, to
Yeah,
take note or notice of what's been happening as needed. And then from that space, there will be a lot more clarity to keep moving forward in an adjusted way or exactly in the same way.
yeah. Because oftentimes we do retrospectives, right? That's a collective effort you're doing with your team.
Yeah.
But it's important to do that introspection because I think we have kind of like overused retrospection, but it's important, equally important to do that introspection, to see within yourself, reflect on your own actions and learnings. I think one should practice that, keep it in a practice, take those pauses and practice introspection.
I love it. Absolutely. I'd be curious, Santhi, what were, and you've mentioned some of them in throughout your intro and throughout these questions. What have been the biggest challenges of your career if you were to highlight them as like, one or two of them specifically?
I have many.
You can share more. I'm just putting
you know
it out there.
yeah, I have many, and I'm glad I had those challenges, those hurdles, those uphill battles I had to do, because that's how I have learned. I have seen growth. I have evolved. But one thing, if I have to share, is definitely how I have grown or evolved as a leader. Because of my speed, you know, I was given leadership opportunity very early on in my career.
Mm,
I was fortunate because I was able to resolve the tickets super quickly within no time. I learned the processes, tools. I know them in and out. I was excellent at what I was doing. So I was promoted to leadership role. But I did a very rookie mistake being a new leader of expecting my team to execute work or approach any task
mm.
just the way I would do it.
So good, yeah.
See, that's such a wrong move. So,
Mm,
it's not great because you're expecting somebody to work just like you. Just like I thought, I am great. How I worked or executed is, the best way. So I
mm,
expected my team to work the same way. But I was fortunate to realize that very quickly. Very quickly, even before, I fell so fast on my face, I could, pull myself together. I understood what was wrong.
yeah.
I gave that space to my team,
Mm,
bring their differences, the way they approach a task.
mm,
So that's how I would say that I was a failed leader at my very first assignment as a leader. but I quickly learned. Yeah,
Beautiful, Santhi. And this is a mistake that so many people can relate to. And they probably haven't thought of it because it's not one we talk about very often. Actually, it's not one that someone has brought up even on the PLA podcast ever. And it's that piece around the expectations that we have around the people around us to execute like we do. And so many of us fall into this trap just because we're so used to working at our pace, working in our way. And the reality is, it may not always be the greatest way. It may have worked for us for whatever reason, and down the road or for others, it may not work. And so it's this, I love that. It really has me thinking, okay, wait a minute, like, where have I done this mistake myself? And, what is that invitation? How to create more space for people to work, create, or contribute in the way that's more true to who they are, and it's actually more conducive to an entire team's success.
true. I think you have used the right word. It's a trap. It's a self trap,
Yeah.
thinking that I did it the best way, so I expect others to do the same way, right? I think the beauty of it is like you give them the space, you as a leader, you articulate the strategic purpose behind ask what you're asking them to do or the task you have given, and give that space for the team to explore how they want to approach it, bring their unique skills, their creativity,
Beautiful.
and just enable them if they want
Mm.
a special tool,
Yeah.
or if
I
they're blocked, right? Play their thought leader or a coach or mentor as and when they're required. But otherwise, give them the space
mm,
to bring their creative best and solve and execute the work. I think that's my learning from the
mm,
challenge, because when we embrace differences, I believe that's a very fundamental for innovation.
mm. Powerful. Powerful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of innovation, I'd love for us to board the topic of AI, and just wondering, I would love to have your take on AI and how, it's really changing and shifting a lot of things in every industry we're seeing. So
It is. It
love to get
is.
your perspective.
It is. It has already changed a lot the way we work, we approach things. AI, it's such a tiny word, acronym, but it does a lot, bigger than how it sounds. Artificial intelligence, mimicking the human, the way we think or approach or execute the work. And I know that it's been treated as like a very novel existential threat today. And of course, it's true in a nutshell, I would say, because it's a disruption and it's massive. In the recent times, if we have seen any disruption, nothing but AI. But I
Mm,
would say that disruptions are not new to business,
yeah. So
not new to market, not new to humankind, I would say that. From electricity to internet,
mm.
right? Some disruptions we have heard of, machines replacing the humor, the workforce, right? Or, the digital era,
Mm.
how internet broke everything,
So-
how it impacted retail or media, especially the print media. The kid, I was that kid who read holding a book, the physical book in my hand. I enjoyed reading. Even if it's a newspaper, magazine, doesn't matter. I enjoyed that. The smell of the new book, or
Yes.
even the smell of the old book. I was born and raised in that era. I was like, I belong to that generation, but it impacted. Today, everything is digital. The physical, the stores, they have to have a digital presence,
Mm.
small or big. They should have a physical presence, as well as like, even if you don't have physical stores, many of the brands, they don't own any physical space other than the warehouse, right?
No.
So that's how disruptions have been. The thing, what is constant is like the change.
Mm,
whether it's a technology or it could be like anything. So here the threat is not the disruption.
mm,
The threat is that if we don't catch on that early on, and if we don't ride that wave, the disruption,
mm.
and when it comes to AI, the faster, the better. You adapt AI, leverage it at your work. We don't have to, when I talk to like people and discover what's your opinion, because everybody has, they have right to have opinion or, the perception towards anything, right? The technology, everything is changing every day. So the thing is that you don't have to be that geek knowing that how the neural networks
Mm,
work behind that AI, right? Or how it tokenize your prompt or the data. You don't have to know that. You just have to know the very surface level,
mm.
the tools, the AI tools or the capabilities. Know how to leverage them
Yeah.
in your domain, in your role. Start with the very simplest way possible, right? Because riding the wave is important because that's when it becomes a threat. Otherwise, I would say like any disruption has created, if we can reflect really on the history, I would say like if it is electricity or if it is like a technical, the internet, the digital boom, the mobile. Today everything is mobile, right? It has
Yeah.
only created wealth and opportunities
Mm,
for us if
absolutely.
we leverage them, right? So you just identify like in your role, in your job, where you can offload your
Mm,
the work that is taking too many manual hours from you for those data entry kind of a work. Offload it to your AI partner, use it as your copilot, right? So
yeah.
that you have free time in your hands to invest in innovative tasks, creativity,
Mm,
and your critical thinking and problem solving. That is where you invest your time. Just offload all the manual work. The simplest is like, make it as your partner, see it as your co-pilot, not
yeah.
like a threat, like just like any other technology. But because honestly, I believe whatever we have seen in the past year and a half or so, the AI is doing is just the very beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. Santhi, you bring up some important points. We've seen so many shifts in the world, like the onset of electricity, then the internet, like all of these moments where there were these massive changes where we had to adapt and seeing it like, and I love that way of putting it, simplifying it. What is the minimum that you can start implementing today in your role just to start? And
Yeah,
building on that over time, starting to offload those, you know, re- repli- replicated tasks or repeatable tasks to AI, seeing it really as your partner more than anything, and then creating more space for creativity and innovation and critical thinking. I love that.
exactly. Yeah, it just have to be that simple, right?
Beautiful.
It can go deeper, like depends on your role or the job you're in, but it's that simple to start at the surface level.
Absolutely. And Santhi, this brings me to my another question that I have. We are on the PLA podcast,
Mhm.
and I'm so curious to know what originally drew you to PLA. That would be my first question, and I'll put a second part to that question. What has been the most surprising takeaway from PLA you've gotten?
That's a very interesting, simple question, but it has a lot of depth to it, Dunya.
So good.
Yes. If I can take a sip before I go on and answer it.
Absolutely. That'll make the two of us.
Thank you. Okay. Where should I start? I'm just collecting my thoughts
Mm,
because I really want to put it together. The best way I can communicate
mm,
the influence or the impact PLA has on me just in few months. Just in few months. It's not even a year. And I would call It has the best decision I have taken in 2025. You know, in just, a month or away to close out the year, this
Incredible.
is the best decision. Very next to marrying my love of my life,
Oh.
having, decision to have the two kids, and very next to it is the best decision
Mm,
to just, so you
wow,
can understand how much of an impact it has on me.
incredible.
Because we sitting here, I just can think that I know everything. I'm
Mm,
doing the best I can. I'm doing wonderful at work. I'm doing a wonderful at personal life. But there is always the unknown you never explored.
yeah.
That has created some vacuum. You know, that consciousness, when you have it, is literally manifesting how I can fill that vacuum.
Mm,
There is something that I don't know outside of my abilities or proximity. I want to. That's the gap that PLA has, filled or completed, the completeness. Because I have a master's degree in computer science, I said, and I'm also currently pursuing my MBA, which I enrolled when my younger one is 3 months old.
wow.
I committed to that. But today I would say, like, no technical school, no business school teach you those skills that I have learned from PLA Academy.
Mm,
This is the truth. And I would really wish, like, the curriculums at school levels have changed and teach you these life lessons. It's beyond
mm,
your career, beyond your personal, it's something holistic. It
mm.
teaches you the overall, how you think, approach, prep yourself, evolve yourself. That is exactly PLA is to me, and the
Yeah,
magic it has done to me so far. I'm
incredible.
very glad I have taken that decision.
Oh, so touched. What a beautiful testimonial, truly, Santhi. And this is really also a testimony to you. There are opportunities around us all the time, and there are very few in this world that end up seizing these opportunities and making the absolute best out of them. And I just wanted to take a moment and just highlight you in this process and your commitment to your growth and your dedication to this learning.
Yeah, thank you.
This brings me to my last and favorite question of the PLA podcast is what legacy and impact are you still looking forward to leave behind in this world?
Wow, that's such a heavy one. Legacy.
Mm,
Um, you know, well, I think everybody, every human, they would wish they can leave something behind. It's not that physical wealth or something, the impact that you create, that you want to leave behind, give back to the society. I think that's the legacy we all can. If we want to, we can leave behind. And one such thing, as a mother of two kids, is that the cause to contribute is the child education and nutrition,
yeah.
because children are our future and they're future leaders.
Mm,
When you have healthy minds and healthy bodies, the harmony in the society, that's how we can build. That's what I believe. Because I think that's, I have read, I heard so much, but that I only realized after I become a mother. I look at my kids and say, what can I give them? A branded shoe, expensive clothes, um, go and eat at a fancy restaurant. But they won't last. They won't last, right? What I can give them at the best of my ability is that good education, very fundamental,
yeah.
and nutrition.
Mm,
So, what if I can do that at a scale? That is exact cause is very dear to my heart. I know right now I don't have a big project or the initiative of my own to support that cause, but I'm always associated with small initiatives and projects wherever I could support. I'm associated with, but in future definitely, if I have that uh, capacity, or if I can, I want to have something of my own initiative focusing on child education and nutrition, because those are the fundamental pillars.
Wow.
you know yeah, healthy human beings, healthy minds, that's what this world needs.
I love it, Santhi, and it's so such a testament to your mom heart, that love for the next generation, for being a dedicated mom, and for understanding and implementing that piece around education has been instrumental in your own life and upbringing, and has served you so much along your journey and career, and you know the
I do.
importance of that. So it's so beautiful. Thank you for that beautiful share. And thank you for your presence on the PLA podcast for this episode. It's been an absolute treat having you, and looking forward to having you on again, definitely.
Oh, definitely, I would love to. And you means world to me, just making fun looking at the name. I know the meaning of your name.
Oh, yeah. I definitely feel connected to it. Feel so connected to the world. So your share around, even children and education, there's a love for me there big time, because it does connect to the world.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of influence coming from my mother also.
Yeah.
She would also always say that, don't worry what you eat today or what you wear.
Mm,
It is that the focus you have on your academics,
wow.
the place you create for yourself, that is important. She's always focused on providing us, good education, and the support how much ever she can do it for us.
It's amazing, Santhi, truly. And her legacy lives through you. It's so beautiful. Truly.
Yeah, hoping so.
Oh, it's been lovely to have you on the episode, and just want to thank you for your time, for your wisdom, and everything you've shared with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity, Dunya. And I'm so excited to be on your show. And I was like, and I don't know how well, I could respond to your prompts, or I don't know. I think I did.
It was amazing. You did beautifully well, and I'm so excited to see. I'm sure so many people listening are getting so much value out of this episode. And oh, it brings me to my last little piece. I was almost going to forget. If anyone is curious about PLA and has never heard of PLA and just wants a little bit more information, at this QR code, you will find the information to the next free training. And this will have, even if you just attend this training and never hear of PLA again, you will be blown away with the tools provided by the community and the leadership. I've attended multiple times. So many people of our community have attended multiple times over again. And it's breathtaking and truly generous, and a reflection of the leadership's hearts, of how much they give in this free training, simply out of the goodness of being able to provide and give back. And so, for anyone that's curious, you can scan this QR code and just find out when the next free training is. And just want to thank you once again, Santhi, for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, please, people, please come join us. Come join our PLA family. You won't be disappointed. You won't be the
Oh,
same person.
that is absolutely true. It's so, so true. And next time, everyone, have a beautiful day, and we'll catch you all on for another episode of the PLA podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.